I always loved hiking through the dense old forest that surrounded our little town. There was something calming about the towering trees, their leaves whispering secrets in the wind. My friends and I had explored almost every trail, every hidden path, or so we thought. But there was one place we never dared to go, the heart of the forest. The locals called it the Forbidden Grove. They told stories about it, frightening tales that kept most people far away. They said that once, a long time ago, people used to go in there and never come out. Some whispered that it was haunted, others claimed it was cursed. But to my friends and me, it sounded like a challenge. So one bright summer morning, we decided to see it for ourselves. There were 5 of us in total: me, Alex, Mia, Jordan, and Sophie. We packed our bags with supplies and set off early, determined to uncover the truth behind the legends. The forest grew denser as we ventured deeper, the trees taller, their branches weaving together to form a thick canopy overhead. The air was cool and still, not a single sound except for the crunch of leaves under our boots. As we walked, a strange feeling settled over us, like we were being watched. But we laughed it off, blaming it on the creepy stories we'd heard. After what felt like hours, we finally reached a clearing. In the center stood a massive oak tree, its trunk as wide as a house and its branches stretching high into the sky. There was something ancient and powerful about it, as if it had been standing there for centuries, watching over the forest. As we approached, we noticed something odd. At the base of the tree, hidden among the roots, was a large stone door. It was covered in moss and vines, almost like it was trying to be forgotten. Alex brushed the plants away, revealing strange carvings etched into the stone. They were unlike anything we'd ever seen, symbols that seemed to shift and change when you looked at them. Maya pulled out her phone to take a picture, but it wouldn't turn on, the battery dead even though she charged it the night before. Jordan laughed nervously, making a joke about it being a sign that we should turn back. But we were too curious to leave now. Sophie found a handle on the door and, with a grunt, pulled it open. A cold, musty breeze swept out, carrying with it the scent of earth and something else, something old and rotten. Against our better judgment, we decided to go in. The tunnel was narrow, the air thick with dust. We moved slowly, our flashlights cutting through the darkness. The deeper we went, the colder it became, the walls damp and slick with moisture. We kept going, drawn by a strange pull that none of us could explain. Finally, the tunnel opened up into a vast underground chamber. Our flashlights revealed stone pillars and carvings that covered every surface. At the far end of the chamber, something massive loomed in the shadows. As we got closer, our breath caught in our throats. It was a giant, not just any giant, but a colossal figure seated on a throne made of stone. It had to be at least 20 feet tall, its body covered in what looked like armor made of bark and bone. Its eyes were closed, its face serene, almost like it was sleeping. We stood there, stunned, not sure if we were looking at a statue or something else. Maya reached out to touch it, and the moment her fingers brushed against its skin, its eyes snapped open. We all screamed and stumbled back, nearly dropping our flashlights. The giant's eyes were a deep, glowing green, staring right at us with an intensity that made my skin crawl. It moved, slowly at first, its joints creaking like old wood. It stood up, towering over us, and for a moment, none of us could move. We were frozen in place, too terrified to even breathe. Then, with a deafening roar, it took a step toward us. Panic set in. We turned and ran, sprinting back toward the tunnel, our footsteps echoing in the chamber. The ground shook beneath us as the giant gave chase, its footsteps heavy and slow but relentless. The tunnel seemed to stretch on forever, but we kept running, the sound of the giant's roar pushing us forward. We burst out of the tunnel into the daylight, the stone door slamming shut behind us. We didn't stop. We ran through the forest, branches scratching at our skin, roots tripping us up, but we kept going. We could hear the giant's footsteps growing fainter, but we didn't dare look back. Finally, after what felt like hours, we collapsed on the ground, gasping for air. The forest was silent again, the only sound our ragged breathing. We lay there for a while, trying to process what we had just seen. Eventually, we got up and made our way back to town. We tried to tell people what happened, but no one believed us. They thought we were making it up, that it was just a story we created to scare them. But we knew the truth. We had seen the giant, felt the ground shake beneath its feet, heard its roar echo through the forest. We had stumbled upon something ancient, something that was meant to stay hidden. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing that roar in my head, feeling the giant's eyes on me. I got up and looked out my window, half expecting to see it standing there in the dark, watching me. But there was nothing. Over the next few days, things started to change. We all felt it. The forest wasn't the same. It was quieter, darker. The animals had vanished, and the trees seemed to lean in closer, as if they were whispering to each other. We tried to move on, to forget about what we had seen, but it wasn't that easy. One by one, my friends began to disappear. Alex was the first. He went back to the clearing, trying to get proof of what we'd seen. He never came back. Then Jordan, then Sophie. They all went missing, leaving no trace behind. Now it's just me and Mia, and I don't know how much longer we have. I can feel it watching us waiting. I tried to warn people, but no one believes me. They think I'm crazy, that I'm just trying to scare them. But I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. I know what's out there in the heart of the forest. The giant is real, and it's waking up. And when it does, there won't be anywhere left